Hi! We're about to start our first adventure, one which I have entitled The Ides of Marsh. But as always, before we do so, we're just going to take a minute and meet all of our players and our characters and talk for a little bit before we get in. So, without further ado, first up we have Farzu, the big boss Farzu, Papa Farzu, an individual of long title and short name. Farzu, how are you?
Hi, yes, I'm Farzu, the big boss, Papa Farzu. I'm all right. How are you?
I'm doing all right as well. So Farzu, tell me, what have you been up to lately? Anything new? Any news?
Not really.
Um,
Just the usual.
yeah, fair enough. How is your son?
Which one?
I didn't know that you had more than one. Oh, I guess you. I did know you had.
Big boss Papa Farzu, the big Papa Farzu for no reason.
I was referring to one who's of particular note, but I guess how are your kids in general in that case?
I'd have no idea, but I hope they're all right.
Well, fair enough. Yeah, you say they don't call you the big boss Farzu, Papa Farzu for nothing. How did you come? How did you come across that particular title, that moniker?
I don't actually have any kids, and how I got that name, I'm not allowed to tell you.
Okay.
Or maybe I shouldn't.
Well, if it's for my own protection, then I certainly don't want to hear. But it is good to see you again, Farzu.
Certainly.
Cool. Next up, we have Zewxip, the Blossomer Floran sorcerer. Zewxip, hello.
Greetings. It's a pleasure to see you again.
And it is always a pleasure to see you as well. Zewxip, tell me, what's new with you? What have you been up to?
Oh, I've grown.
Really?
Grown more powerful. I've grown more adaptive. And I've even taken up a bit of gardening, which is an interesting pastime for one such as myself.
I was going to say that is a very interesting pastime for you. Are you gardening? I assume more non-sentient plants is what you mean.
Yes, it's kind of interesting to look back on one's beginnings, to reflect. Where did you come from?
Have you had any...
And where will you go?
I was going to ask, have you had any kind of existential revelations in this process, or is it just kind of relaxing? Do you just sort of enjoy it?
Not as of yet. It's been a practice of magic. I'm able to move Earth with mere gestures, and as well, my lover has taught me a very interesting spell that allows me to breathe fire as he does.
Oh, although I don't know, I assume that particular skill is not a major factor in your gardening?
No, but it is a part of the overall process of growing and continually blooming into a newer and newer Zewxip.
Well, Zewxip, it seems like I'm always impressed by you. You have a very healthy outlook on life, Zewxip, and I'm glad to have you back. It's good to see you.
Thank you. I earned it through immense pain and struggle.
That may be the way most people earn such an outlook, but however you get there, I suppose. As I'm glad that you're well now. And next up, we have Rivi Bluecloak, Archer Adept. Rivi, hello.
Hello.
Rivi, what about you? What have you been up to? How are you?
I have undertaken a very powerful magic spell to improve the quality of my voice.
Really? How did you? Where did you get this spell done?
Amazon.
Amazon. Oh, in the Amazon shipping company. I believe that the forest shipping company. They said
I added it to cart and I got it mailed to my house and I attached it to my computer.
Yeah, I believe that's in the Will-the-Wood somewhere. Well, I'm glad to hear. Are you happy with the change?
Yep, it so far works better. I think I can't really hear myself. At least I'm not trying to hear myself. I'd rather not myself.
And I guess everyone always hears their own voice a little bit differently. But what
I
prompted
sound
you?
a lot worse when I'm not hearing myself.
Indeed. What what prompted you to make this purchase?
Mainly a mouth character, mainly just stuff for film class.
Well, fair enough. Rivi, it's good to see you again out here in the adventuring fields. I look forward to
Glad to be here. Well, that'd be a lie, but somewhat happy to be here.
As glad as one can be to face near certain death.
Exactly.
Yeah. Welcome back. And last but not least, we have returning after a very long hiatus. We have Korr, the Korr.
You would not believe the year I've had.
Well, please catch me up, as I am all ears. I want to hear about it.
Bartholomew sent me on the best adventure.
Oh, what was it?
He told me that I need to go and hug all the kittens and all the puppies and all of the time.
That is a pretty significant adventure. That must have taken you. Well, I mean, I guess it's taken you a whole year. Are you just finishing this up now?
Yeah.
I mean, Korr, how was it? It was probably. I mean, I don't want to put words in your mouth. That sounds pretty fun.
It was amazing.
And Korr, have you grown at all from this experience? Have you learned anything? What brings you back now? Is it just all the kittens have been hugged? Or, do you have any new purpose in your return?
All the puppies have been patted. All of the kitties have been cuddled.
Fair enough. That's all there is to it. I guess, they say Julius, was it Julius or Alexander wept for there are no more worlds to conquer. Korr,
What's an Alexander?
That's perhaps a question for another time. But Korr perhaps didn't weep, but smiled, for there were no more dogs to pat. And Korr, I'm glad that the dogs have all been patted, so that now you can return and adventure here with us.
It will be fun. I am glad to see all my friends again.
Indeed. So, in that case, without further ado, let's hop into tonight's adventure. It was a relatively simple one. The four of you were sent to deliver a package. Bartholomew needed it sent up north to the Big Rock Candy Mountains, a particular village up there. However, the route that you were to take, he said it was pretty fragile and he didn't trust it in teleportation magic, so you had to walk most of the way. And as you've been going there, you had to pass through the Baradac Swamp. It was the most efficient. It's the most kind of efficient leg of the journey. It's just kind of a simple square brown paper package, really, really basic. And as you were kind of traveling through the Baradac Swamp, the last thing that the four of you remember was each of you just kind of found a blow dart kind of in your neck or in your sides, and you remember getting woozy and seeing some strange frog-like creatures walking up towards you, and then you blacked out. And so where our adventure begins officially, the four of you are kind of standing or kind of getting up from sitting down as you are unconscious, but you're sitting in a cell. A very kind of simple one. You can see the bars seem to be made from solid wood. The entire space around you is also from solid wood, and all of your possessions have been taken away from you, including this package which you are sent to deliver. But all of you are beginning to come to. You can see kind of posted outside the cell across the other side of the room. It looks like the entire space that you're in is made of a solid, very hard wood. Across the way from you, you can see a bullywug who appears to be kind of, half asleep, just kind of sitting in a guard's chair. They have a simple spear in their hand, but they're kind of nodding off. You can kind of hear them.
Is the cell locked?
Yeah, the cell is locked.
How far are the Mars?
As everyone else. Sorry.
Oh no, go ahead.
I was gonna say, as everyone else starts to wake up, Korr is just still sleeping, frog leg.
It's like the Star of Ellis or something. We're about to go get. Did we get a vision from some lady that wants to kill someone or something? Get staff.
Ugh.
This is
Are
how
there
it
keys
still
inside?
starts.
Do I see keys? Anyone?
Go ahead and make a perception check as you're just kind of looking around the space.
How far apart are the bars?
The bars, they're pretty tight. They're made of wood. A pretty.
Or are they
soft-
cobalt
a
type?
pretty
Could I use
yeah,
I would like-
unless you have some kind of way to like shrink yourself, they're able to hold like a small creature. They look like they're able to hold really small creatures, actually, because you know that the other bullywugs around here spend a lot of time working with the grung. Yeah, as you're looking around the space trying to find anything, you don't immediately see any keys, Farzu.
How close are our items?
Keep an eye out for keys, boys.
How close are your
Might be
items?
able to get us in.
Yes.
You don't see them. The view that you have from the cell that you're in right now, you are unable to see your items.
Well, I'm useless.
Unfortunate, which means that I cannot turn into a bird.
I am entirely built
Yeah,
around
you don't
archery.
have them at the
I cannot do anything about archery.
yeah, you guys are all unequipped at the moment.
I have an idea. I would like to also point out that I'm 16 feet tall in this tunnel, in this tiny room. I'm horribly hunched down.
Oh my god, yeah, I forgot how huge you were. Yep, you are like essentially kind of curled up in the corner with your head kind of brushing the ceiling. Yes, you are a large creature.
I got an idea. I'm going to attempt. You were here. I don't have Korr's sheet.
Oh wait, you don't. You should. Oh, I figured the reason why there was only one wild ricochet before was because you changed your name, and so the other one didn't change with it. But now I know which is the correct one, so you'll have it in just a sec.
Can you describe the cell a little bit, like floor, ceiling? What are the bars? Are they wood? Are they metal?
Yeah, the bars are wood. The entirety of the cell seems to be made. It looks less like the cell was. It looks less like the cell was created, and more like it was carved into something like really dense, made out of wood.
Well, I'm going to attempt to pry open the bars. Probably just splinter them.
Okay, go ahead and.
Korr's sheet?
I believe it is. Is it not?
Oh wait, no, I was on the cogwheel. That explains a lot. I was very confused.
Yes, there you go. So yeah, go ahead and make me a strength check. I'm gonna probably say you're at. I won't go so far as to say you're at disadvantage. It's a little bit tricky because you're so big.
I think I already have advantage because I'm large.
Yeah, okay, so I think the fact that you're large in this case would take away from you because you're just like trying to awkwardly like push at like a weird angle, but
Just go prone.
yeah, I think in this case it's just a flat roll, yeah. 16. All right, you begin kind of pushing against them, and it's it's a very solid. It's a very solid wood. You can feel it like maybe just a little bit starting to give way and splinter. It's going to take some time and some work. You'll have to like maybe crash it a few times. But you think if you put in the effort over some time, you could definitely just smash through this thing. If you
Did it get any farther apart?
No, the wood doesn't like bend so much as it just starts to like splinter a tiny bit.
Okay.
How close together are the bars?
I got it.
They look like they're close enough to hold grung, so pretty close. And they're very thick. You're seeing through like kind of narrow slot. Like each bar itself is maybe like 8 inches or so in kind of like this vertical, almost vertical rectangular prism. And like I was saying to Zewxip Maddie before, the whole cell looks like it was carved. But as you kind of put this first. As you kind of use this first burst of energy and kind of start breaking it down just a little bit, you hear the bullywug that was kind of guarding over on the other side kind of snap away as the wood starts to splinter a little bit. They're kind of... they look up and they see you kind of like pushing against the cell, and they kind of shout over to the side of the room. They say something in a language that you guys don't understand, just sounds... And you see a figure beginning to walk over. You see another bullywug that appears to be wearing kind of long ceremonial-looking robes of some kind. It looks more, if anything, you would compare it to a toga, kind of in a bluish color, and they kind of walk over to the cell. And they look at you, Korr, who are kind of pushing up against it, and they say to you, "Hold up now, don't push a fire too difficultly."
Hello, Froggy. Why are we in here?
He looks at the group of the four of you. "You've asked a fire a most wondiferous question. The most simplistic answer would be to put you inside of our food holes."
Hey, I gotta pee.
That's not. We don't go in those holes.
Let me out, or do you want me to pee in your food holes as well?
He kind of looks a little bit perturbed. "This is a most displeasificating thought. However, I'm afraid I am not at the most libertification to permitify you to exit at this time."
Why?
Well, and he kind of leans forward. "I did," and he looks back at the guard that's kind of standing there, and he goes, and whatever that phrase was, the guard kind of like stands to attention and steps out of the room. He goes,
"That is okay." Oh, sorry.
"Oh, no problem." He goes, "It was my interest to consider your exit from this particular space. I can tell that you are not the usual foodstuffs that we consume."
No, we're on a mission from Bartholomew.
Indeedly, you must be. I have seen such kinds as you before. My father would occasionally capturicate when he was able. He would locate those persons of particular sword fightingness or of wizardly pardonics, and he would bring them into his fighting place and force them to battle for his immunification.
Where's
On the mission. Mind
lean over? Sorry.
You want us to fight? Is that it?
Korr's gonna lean over to Farzu. What is he saying? I don't understand. His words are too big.
My apologies. My masterization of your word collection often leaves most people flummoxed.
Right.
Korr. Just keep trying to bring down the thing.
It's okay, Mr. Froggy. You don't have to let us out. We'll make our own way. Let's roll another strength check.
All right, go ahead. 20. All right, yeah, you slam into the side of it. It kind of this time it leaves like a big kind of heave, and more of the wood starts to break. Oh yeah, that was a save, not a check, so it should have been a little bit lower than that.
You're correct. That should have been 3 lower, actually. Yeah.
Okay, so 17. Yeah, I mean, it's still about the same result as you kind of slam into it. It cracks a little bit more. You see maybe like 3 or so more good heaves, and you'll probably break this thing down. And this individual looks at you and he goes, Hold up now. I'd be happy to return to you your objects and give you back your medals and your squares and your packs. However, it would be, I was hoping perhaps you might offercate me your assistance in a particular matter.
To do what?
No.
Wait, I want to hear what I have to say first.
I help my friends with stuff. Are we friends?
Not yet.
He looks at you and he goes, he thinks for some time. I would say there is potentiality for a budding of companication.
What do you want us to do?
He said there's potentiality. What does that mean?
Well, just don't listen to him. Okay, so what do you want us to do?
in short terms, as it appears to be that time is now an object, kill my dad.
Oh, I'm fine with that.
Sure. Give us our stuff first.
Just give me my bow. I'll play arrow for you with that.
He kind of he kind of looks at you, Farzu. Now, it is in my manner of thinkification that you might not be inclined to obligate if I return to you your possessions immediately.
Why do you
I'll
want
hear
to
it
kill
the other
your
way.
dad?
Give me
That's
my
not
bow.
fair.
I shoot him in the head. That's how it works. See, I don't do things without my bow, or else I can't really do much things. Because I am an archer. So,
See, my father, he speaks, my father has grown tempestuous. He is large and eats more than his share, and his body has grown abnormal in some senses. Today, at our meeting of the greatest minds of our kingdom, the members of the Senate, I am a senator and his son, we intend to bring him down. However, our particular strengths are unfiticated for the task. So I will bring you your things at this meeting when we all decide to strike simultaneously.
I can strike from a balcony.
But-
Give my bow.
But
That's literally all I need.
But why? That's not very nice. Why don't you just be nice and ask him to leave?
Yes, murder's not exactly something that I look forward to doing.
Oh, nor I. It is my own father, the flesh and blood of my kin, my ribbit. And he kind of looks around. But this individual has become corrupticated.
Even more weird than shoot him.
And for the
Shoot him
good,
anyway, but-
and for the good for the tree of the world. It is our responsibility to see that our people continue on for generation after generation. So, perhaps I can give you some garments to help you blend in, and we can go and kill my dad.
Me blending.
But-
You roll with my lizard, right? I'm a reptile.
But my dad was a mean king, and I didn't kill him.
He looks at you for some time. You have shown incredible restraintification. Perhaps this is an opportunity for you to find catharsis.
But I like.
At this point, I am now going to take my key here and turn it into the cell. Please do not murder me as I do. And he goes over and he unlocks the cell.
All right, where's my bow?
If everybody killed their dad because they're corrupt, I'd be dead 1,000 times over.
He looks at you. We're not going after you, fortunately.
Let's get this done.
Korr is going to pick up the small thing.
Put him down.
Yeah, he's pretty big for a bullywug, but he's definitely smaller than you. And he goes, go ahead and make an athletics check, because he's going to try and not have that happen.
I have advantage on this.
That sounds correct to me. Let me get him out of the way. He's going to make a contested strength check. I assume he did not win. Wait, he actually tied, but I forgot to roll it in public, so he's got to re-roll. Yep, nope, that ain't going to do it. You pick him up. He goes, now, and he kind of puts his hands up in the air nervously.
Alright, tell us where his stuff is.
It's okay, potentiality, friend. And Korr puts him on his shoulders.
And he speaks to you. I have relocated it within a compartment, most confidentiality. Within the chamber of the council.
Adding ality onto the end of words doesn't make you sound smarter.
I believe the more suffixification that you amplify to a word collection increases the sort of vocal dexterity of the individual that is speakificating.
It really does. It makes your grammar actually
I
worse.
understand no words that are being said.
Well, of course you don't.
roasted. And he goes, now unhand me, large individual, and we shall upon our merry way.
It's okay. You can ride up here. Korr has him on his shoulder. It's okay, potentiality friend.
You have disguises for us.
Oh yeah, I can get you some. We can robify you. And he goes over into the side of the room and produces 3 robes or 4 robes. He throws one to you, Korr. It's a regular size robe, but they're kind of like togas like him. And he looks at you and he goes, perhaps we can combine multiple.
Korr looks down at it, looks back up, and then he slowly ties it around his head like a hat.
Do you expect us to look like bullywug?
We will just, well, I do not expectify you to look as the frogs do. However, I do believe perhaps we can pass you off as, what is the term for an individual who is here on a mission of peace?
Envoys.
And so it is. He looks at you, kind of Rivi, and kind of taps you on the shoulder, kind of in a companion-y way.
What does your dad look like? How big is he?
Oh, he will be significantly larger than any such bullywug that you have seen. I know that I myself am a bit on the big side, but he is.
Dummy thick.
He is.
Is he okay? Out of
huge
character, is he medium?
He's kind of like describing the scale to you. He goes, picture me on top of me with an additional double that. So he's implying that he's huge, based on that description.
Oh my god.
I can shoot that.
Is he bigger than me?
How big is the guy we're talking
to? The guy you're talking is on the upper side of medium.
Alright. Then, can I alter self to make myself look like him?
Yeah, absolutely.
Sweet.
So yeah, you change your appearance. You kind of your skin becomes a little bit shiny and green. You widen a bit. Again, you look just like a bullywug.
How's this? I can be your decoy.
As he kind of, and as you do this, he kind of like puts his arms up in defense. Your body has shiftificated. Were you a bullywug in disguise?
No, but I can do this all the time. Let me just try to pick up on your accent.
Please. I'm actually hearing weird static. I don't know if you actually just cut out. That's actually really, that's weird. Yeah, Farzu says he's still here. I think he.
No, I'm good.
Oh yeah, you're good.
Mr. Potentiality friend.
Potential.
He looks. Yes, my potentiality companion Kai.
Is your father bigger than me?
He looks up at you. If I had to estimate, I would decide yay.
Do you think he would fight me?
We're going to kill him. Of
and
course we're fighting him.
He looks at you and he goes, what is the response that you would prefer?
I want to see if I'm stronger than him.
That is a test that we can accomplify. Indeed, we shall determine the answer to your conundrum. Conundrum? He looks at you, Rivi, who've been kind of helping him every once in a while.
Conundrum.
And he goes,
what's a conundrum?
And he starts kind of moving down. You may have to duck every once in a while upon the occasion.
Korr walks forward, accidentally bumps his head, ducks under. The next time he needs to duck, he accidentally bumps his head before ducking under.
Classic. Yeah, and this...
It's like the fall in bag end.
Yeah.
Like the theme in bag end. At the end of the movie is bonk, bonk.
Yep, Gandalf. You're the Gandalf in this hobbit hole. And as you're walking around, yeah, it's a little bit cramped for you. But eventually you move your way into some larger chambers where it is less so. As you're walking down the hallways, all of it is just seems to be carved out of this completely solid wood. It's fairly impressive. But as you move up and eventually kind of move into some more open air sections, you see more kind of bullywugs walking around. Occasionally you'll see bullywugs kind of shout some words over at the Senator Julius Frogston the Seventh here, and he'll respond in the native bullywug language, and you assume he's just doing his best to deflect questions about this kind of odd group of individuals. I forgot to ask, did you guys don the robes?
Yeah, I did.
I'm wearing it as a hat.
Oh yes, you have the hat.
I'm afraid
I think they left their old clothes on, right?
Murder.
They left their clothes and armor on, right? Or
Hold on one sec, Rivi. What were you saying, Zewxip? I couldn't quite hear you.
I'm afraid in good conscience, we cannot just go and perform murder. If this is cultural, I suppose I understand, but we were sent to deliver a package.
I'm not gonna kill them.
Maybe we can take your father on the trip with us. It's quite a long walk to the Big Rock Candy Mountains, and maybe he can lose some weight.
Or lose his life.
And he looks at you. Or startifying. Be careful about your use of the term murder in the watchful gaze of the public surrounding. And secondly,
Okay.
if you are able to persuadificate my father into, exit the world tree, then by all means, you please do so.
Oh, I'd love to talk to him and try and persuade him.
I find that your ideas are unlikely. He looks up at you.
I want to wrestle him. I don't want to kill him, but I want to fight him.
You wrestle to your heart's extent, big guy.
All right.
Yay!
From Julius, whatever. Hey.
Yeah. He looks over at you.
How far is the closest
Clearly,
exit from this
None
chamber?
of you
Yes.
guys want to watch him.
As he's speaking, I'm just gonna mimic everything he says to get like a better catch of how he speaks.
Yeah, you're getting the sense that he just puts a lot of ificates and ifies and occasions on the end. Just lots of extra suffixes where they don't need to be. Occasionally an extra prefix too. But yeah, you're kind of learning the cadence. You kind of got it down. And also, I heard everyone was speaking it once before. So I think Rivi, you were trying to say something too.
So Julius, these people aren't squeamish about it, but trust me, I can murderficate him if you just give me my stuff. Okay, I promise on my scales that I won't betray you. Okay.
You see,
the scales promise.
You see, murderfication.
I don't entirely pontificate upon the ruminations that you have put forth for me, but it is my think process that if I were to bring you in, initiate the murderification, and then providify you with your metals and squares and all manner of objects, your packs and things.
My bird song.
Perhaps that as well. Then we could. You would be so endangered for your lives, for my father is a true terror, then you would have no choice, and your betrayal would be not a possibility.
Exactly. So all I need is my bow and a balcony.
We will provide you with this opportunity. I do not know if there is, as a matter of fact, I do know that there is not a proper balcony within the council chamber. However, there are some rather tall columns. You might restify your feet upwards.
That works just fine.
Yeah, at this point, you're moving through a section of this kind of strange wooden city. Like I said, there's more open air, and you can see towering high up above you. You can see what looks like the ruins of the remains of a tree that has been like shattered, but that must have been, the size of the Baradac Swamp that this whole kind of frog city is carved out of. Eventually, you make your way finally to the council chambers, and you see more and more. Of those frogs, all kind of like hanging around, more of them that are wearing more of the togas than the more mundane, just like regular equipment or the equipment of guards that a lot of them are wearing. And you all walk into the chamber, and you can see at the far side of the chamber there is an absolutely massive bullywug that is sitting kind of on a really huge throne, and you can see at the base of it there's something akin to a throne that was like a wooden carved one, and they've just like added stuff onto the sides of it and like extended it to fit for the body, as it was never intended for someone quite so big as him. And he's just there kind of like eating. He kind of reaches his hand down and pulls up what looks like he pulls up what looks like just to be like a whole pig and kind of drops it in his mouth, and you hear kind of a crunch from the other side as he calls out in kind of a deep booming voice, "Ah, tastification, I won't forget soon. Are we startifying or what?" And Julius Frogston the Seventh looks over at his father, Julius Frogston the Sixth, and looks at you guys and goes, "That is my father."
Hi there, Mr. Potentiality Friend Father.
And as you kind of greet him, he looks, "Was this not the bigly individual that I was promised to consume?" And the Julius, "These fine people here are envoys from a diplomatic land." And he kind of smiles, and the father goes, kind of looks suspiciously, "Fine." And he kind of rolls back in his chair a little bit. You see him go and grab another bit of food, and you see, like, it's not even his hand that reaches for it. Out of his back, this long, like, tentacled tendril reaches down, wraps around. This time it looks like just like a handful of pumpkins that he's picking up, and he just kind of slams them into the mouth. There's also what looks like a big kind of plate full of dead flies, giant flies.
Mr. King person?
Yes.
If you were to say, how good do you think you are at fighting people?
Go ahead and make a charisma check. Oh no, he looks at you kind of like with a look of, anger almost, and he goes, "Are you insultifying the strength of my muscles?"
No, I'm just curious.
"I would say that I am approximately this competent." And you see one of the tentacles kind of whips out, and he's gonna try and smack you with it. He kind of like stands and whips forward, and he's gonna make an attack against you. That's a 24 to hit.
I mean, it definitely hits, but my AC's not right on my sheet for some reason.
That is odd. That's oh wow, that's a meaty hit too. That's 18 points of bludgeoning damage.
I'm gonna
tentacle.
Endurance that.
Fair enough. You kind of lock yourself in place, and your strength kind of reduces some of the damage. You don't flinch nearly as much, but the tentacle hits you and it lands heavy. And as it smacks into you, he kind of like looks satisfied about the visible kind of dent and kind of like the report of the crack, and kind of sits himself back down.
That wasn't very nice. I didn't want to fight yet.
Mighty King, you are strong. You are just as you were described to us. You see, as envoys, we have been sent seeking your help to deliver a package. Only someone with your great strength can help us do this.
He looks down at you. "I cannot see too small. Is that a talking?" He looks over at one of these. "Is that a talking weed?" And the person responds. They just kind of like say something in bullywug. Go ahead and make a persuasion check. 23. He leans down. So far in thinking, you are correct about my greatness. You say you have some type of deliverification for this one.
Well, it's a delivery that is going to another location, but we need your great help and experience in getting through the swamp and over to the Big Rock Candy Mountain. This is a very urgent mission.
And he kind of looks a little bit like self-satisfied. His expression is a little hard to read just because of the scale of him, and you know, his mouth kind of like is twisted and wide as he kind of grins upward, and he goes, "Then you have come correctly to the individual you would wish to encounter. I have complete masterization over the domain of this swamp.
And I bet everything in it would love to see you, and I would feel honored to walk in your shadow."
And as you're having this conversation, Julius Frogston, or we'll just call him Seven from now on, the seventh, is looking over at the kind of the three of you, and he kind of gestures. He kind of gestures to the group of you, and he goes, "Now I'm going to give the signalification relatively soon. I have located your effects of the personal variety," and he points over to kind of a side of the room. There's kind of a pillar. He goes, "There is a latch upon the back of that pillar. We are about to beginify our rebellification. Are you prepared?" And he's speaking, I think right now he's speaking to Farzu and Rivi, because I know Korr and Korr.
I'll be prepared after I get my stuff again on top of the pillar. Like how tall is the pillar?
The pillar, the particular pillar that he's pointing at, is it kind of like moves up maybe like 10 or 15 feet. Like the whole chamber is maybe 20, 25 feet, or actually no, a little bit taller than that, probably like 30 feet. The pillar is about 15 up, and
That's good enough for me.
He said there's a secret latch on the back of it where you'll get your stuff, and he's gonna like kick things off in a couple seconds.
Okay, get all my stuff. I guess.
And, so you're gonna just start. In that case, I would like everyone to, actually not quite yet. And he's kind of saying, I'm going to signify soon." He's going to give the signal, but he is still kind of like intently watching your engagement with the Emperor at this point, Zewxip.
And you're gonna significate us.
And he nods. And the
affirmatification.
So I go to the stuff. Is the package in there that we're delivering? Is it in there?
Yeah, you go into the pillar, and there's kind of like a catch on the side of it, and you can see it opens almost like a little closet, and you can see all of your stuff has already been like packed here. It looks like this was all part of his, like, he's been planning this since you guys got knocked out. So he's got all your stuff kind of lined up there.
I get it all on.
So you're just gonna start in the corner. Are you like trying to like be like surreptitious about it, or?
Yeah.
All right.
Well, while they're doing that, I'm gonna second wind.
Okay.
Just get rid of that damage.
Go ahead and make me a stealth check while Zewxip is still kind of drawing attention.
Well, wouldn't I have advantage because he's having drawing attention from him?
It's possible because he's drawing attention. 16? Alright, yeah. You're kind of over there on the side of the room, and yeah, you don't seem to have been, you know...
How close or far am I away from the frog guy?
Not super far. Maybe like 20 feet. It's not like a massive chamber.
What other pillars are there in the chamber?
There's 4 of them in the kind of corners.
How far away from each other?
They're in the corners, and by that I mean they're like in a square inside this chamber, which is circular, and the circular chamber has a radius of maybe 30 feet.
Okay, what pillar am I in comparison to the frog?
Back right.
Back right? So
you're in the farthest one.
In comparison, farthest away, okay.
Yeah.
Does the pillar look like older, or like climbable in any way?
Yeah, it's old. It's like I said, it's all the same kind of wooden material that's just been carved out of this tree, this one really huge tree. So yeah,
I'm going to carefully climb to the top of it and kind of hide up there.
Yeah, you're kind of like holding on to the side right now. If you like get onto the actual perch part of it, you would definitely just be out in plain view. But you're kind of like around the
throne, I guess.
Yeah, you're around the back of it. You're just like holding on, gripping the back of it so that he can't see you, because he's focused on Zewxip. Who's Zewxip? What were you saying? Remind me. Do other stuff at the same time.
And the place we're going is just made of food. Everything that you could hope to eat. Oh, it would be glorious. Your palate must be so refined.
My hunger is bigly. But this is my domain. Should not the food be broadified to me so that I may simply open and it is put within?
Oh, I'll put food in your mouth, but as the king of this domain, if you were to share in that bounty with the others, you should signify which foods are proper for your people to have them brought back.
And he kind of, for some time, thinks about it. I would be sharing the food. Another tentacle reaches down and kind of grabs another kind of like handful of giant flies. Swallows them.
There is a bigly amount of gratified food, fit for a royalish type like yourselves. I made that plural.
Now you talk. Now you talk my word collection. And he kind of he kind of chuckles a little bit, and he goes, "I am intrified. I will take some of this food. I will consume of it."
I'll use my blossomer ability with through Druidcraft to create some tasty berries for him. Like because I've been to Big Rock Canyon Mountain. There's cherries on top of stuff. Maybe I can create some cherries.
Yeah, I think it's reasonable. You create some cherries, and he kind of looks down. He looks down at the cherries. You use the term bigly.
We have. I also use the term we.
He doesn't seem to know what that means, because I also don't.
Indeedly. Indeedly, we did.
And he goes, and he goes, "Are you just gonna toss him the cherries?"
Yes.
He kind of takes them in a tentacle, kind of drops them to his mouth, and he kind of lets them sit on the tongue for a little bit to try and get the taste, because his mouth's just so huge in comparison to the cherries. And he looks down. Tastes interestingly, but not much food. I will try more. And he stands up, and he begins kind of walking, heaving across the room. He moves in kind of big waddles with each step as he works his way across the chamber. And at this point, as he's kind of moving across the chamber, he's getting closer to where you are, Rivi, and you kind of like, skirk around the outside of the column. He's at the door, and you see Julius Frogston the Seventh kind of looks over at the other members of the council chamber. There's lots of other, toga bullywugs. He looks at them, kind of nods his head once, and he kind of just produces from his side what looks like a small dagger, and you watch as most of the council chamber also takes out daggers, and while his back is turned, they get ready to all go in. Zewxip, you see that this person who's walking over to get food, that you're going to bring him to, you can see that the betrayal is about to happen.
Wait, don't do it! I want to fight him first!
He starts to turn around. Roll for initiative. Zewxip, do you call anything out to him, or are you just going to watch it happen?
At this point, I'm just I'll turn around. I see this happen.
Hey,
Kingly.
I have a question.
By all means.
Korr's armor is instant plate. It's the bracers that I can make immediately go on. Would I be able to get those on as well as?
You would need to like run over. You need to just run over to the little pillar and grab your stuff. But yeah, if you do that, you can just.
I already got it on.
Yeah, Rivi's already geared up.
I'm sneaky.
Yeah.
Sneaky sneaker.
All right. Wait, where's my? Did it not go? Did I do the bullywugs initiative? No, I did not. All right. In that case, all of these daggers kind of come out, and the bullywugs all just kind of in one kind of swift motion. All of them pull out their daggers and get ready to move in. You kind of call out Kingly, and the king kind of looks around, sees. And you hear him kind of call something out in. Whatever the bullywug language, and he kind of goes, "To brute." The first to act in this particular instance is going to be Rivi.
I pull myself up from the pillar and I go prone.
Also, all right, yeah, you whip around to the pillar, you go prone. He's not super focused on you right now. He's focused on all the bullywugs that look like they're going to be.
Zewxip is next to him, correct?
Zewxip is, I think, not like immediately next to, but like very close.
Who's next to him? Anyone next to him?
Just all the bullywugs that are like running up. There's like 1 or 2 bullywugs that were already near him.
Are they considered allied for pack tactics?
Yeah, absolutely. In this case, if you're attacking the big guy, they are for sure.
So I'm going to use my advantage shoot.
Yeah. 21 will hit. Yeah, and you're indoors too, so you're.
I'm going to use my class resource known as. God, no, stop doing that. Okay, I'm going to use my Fabling Arrow.
Oh.
Do an extra 2d6 necrotic. So first, I'm going to do the arrow damage.
Yep, roll both.
Then I'm
roll
going to do my charm damage, for my charms. Then I'm going to do my additional 2d6.
All right.
I think did that roll? Hold on.
So it's 12 plus. Also, Farzu, you're not on the initiative order yet. If you get a.
Not working.
Like to roll that.
I'm trying
I'm missing it.
Roll.
Damage. In the meantime, why don't you just click it out and roll it? Just /roll space 46. We can get it the right way the next time.
Oh, I was doing it plus 2d6.
Oh.
Not plus.
Okay.
Point.
Oh, the 46 is at 18th level. Well, just say that's really good. 2d6 is still really good. Another 11. That's a nice attack. That is 21 total.
That's the Constitution saving throw?
23. That's okay. I thought that was automatic as well. Okay, so yeah, he's going to succeed on the con save.
Okay, then I'm going to action surge.
All right, you action surge.
I'm going to do it again.
Do it again. You still got advantage. Pack tactics. Roll damage.
I'm going to use another necrotic arrow.
Hells yeah.
So damage.
And he's going to make another con save.
Roll.
Is 14 going to save?
Let me check. 1 second here, and then I'm going to roll for my charms.
5, another 18 points, so half that it would be 2 if he succeeds.
Okay, so what's my saving throw? Is it my spells?
Yep.
I don't have it written down. I'm not a spellcaster. I'm not a spellcaster. Hold on. Arcane.
We'll come back to that and let me know, and it'll be half damage.
Okay.
Unless it's not. In that case, that's going to bring us next initiative too, and also Farzu again. You got to get on the initiative order. That's going to bring us to the bullywugs, who all run up and are going to attack with their miscellaneous spears. That's a 20 to hit. That's going to hit. That is a 22. Oh wow, these guys are hitting like trucks.
Oh, he's a succeed, by the way. I think my DC is 13.
Okay, so yeah, he'll succeed. And Yeah, all of those attacks are going to hit. Wow, good rolls. And the bullywugs run up, and you see they're kind of like working in kind of small groups. There's a whole bunch of them that are in the area. Some of them are kind of taking out daggers, some of them are taking out weapons. But about like all said and done, 8 bullywugs run up and all kind of stab at the Emperor here, who kind of lets out a big, who lets out just betrayification as he kind of throws his tentacles up in the air as he's stabbed, and it brings us now an initiative to his turn. Actually, yep, it is his turn, and he's going to reach down and just destroy a couple of these guys. You see, he takes 2 of the bullywugs that have just stabbed him and kind of lifts them up and just tosses them in the mouth, cannibalizing them. And then after he kind of does that, he reaches down and just swallows another one whole without even picking it up first. And that's going to be all for his turn as he kills 3 bullywugs. As the numbers are kind of quickly dwindling, you hear lots of as they're kind of like go into the void of his stomach. That's going to move us next to Korr. What do you want to do, Korr?
How far is all of our stuff away?
You can get to it in just a regular move action.
Okay.
Actually, you can get to that and then probably also over to him from where you were.
Nice. Then I'm going to get to that, get my stuff, slip it on, and run back over.
All right. Yeah, it'll be like to like put the plate on and have it kind of activate. That takes an action. But you have your weapon, you have your plate. You go over. Is there like a key word? Because I think the plate has an activation word. What's Korr's activation word for your plate?
I don't know, actually.
Fair enough. It's just Korr.
For friendship.
And as you call out for friendship, the armor just kind of plates out and goes over your body, protecting you. As we move next to Zewxip.
How close am I to my things?
You are about the same as Korr. You can get over there. It'll be a move action to get there. If you have something like you need to equip like a shield or something, that would take an action to equip. But other than that, your stuff's over by just like 15 feet away.
Okay. There's no time for that now. King, come with me if you want to continue livifying. And, I'm going to use fog cloud. I'm going to upcast it here so that it is a 40-foot radius, and I want to try and squash it so it's not like going up. Like I want him. He's 20 feet high, right?
Yeah.
So if I make it, if can I like craft it so maybe like the fog stops at 15 feet so he can see above it? Does that make sense?
Yeah. I'll sure.
Okay, so I wanna just.
But one question.
Fog.
Okay, I was gonna ask if it had material components. So yeah, you're good.
Yeah. I'm looking at my spell list, being very careful about that. And so I want to use that, and I want to run towards. There's an exit that's his size. Yeah.
Yeah, the exit that he was going out.
Yeah.
There's also on the opposite wall. There are. The chamber is kind of overlooking some of the city, so there's some kind of like flimsy wooden bars that make a pseudo window that, you might have trouble with it. He could also just smash through those. So you kind of have 2 exits in a sense, one back on the throne side and one at the exit that he's closer to now.
No, I'm committed to running out the way that he was going, so I'm gonna run that way. Kingly!
And he looks down and he sees you. The fog cloud appears and he goes, "You have betrayed me too." He looks at you. What do you say?
I'm saving you. The attackers can't see you, but you can see out. Let's go. Escapeify.
Make a persuasion check. 15. He looks at you and he goes, Very fine, Weed. We shall runificate only for a moment. I will return, I promise each and either one of you, betrayers. And he seems like he's on your side, and he's just going to make a break for it. But, yeah, that's all there is to it. He seems like he's on your side. He's going to make a break
Double
for it.
plus good. Come.
And that's going to bring us next in initiative to... Farzu, are you here? I think your mic's having issues again. I heard some static before. If you have an action you would like to take, you can just make the rolls on the screen, or write in text. Yeah, you're static. And if you do so, I will just let you drop into initiative at whatever time that you are able to speak, or you write something in chat, but I can't hear you. So in that case, that's going to bring us back around to the top of the initiative. Rivi, you see that Zewxip is trying to kind of get Julius VI out of here. You guys have your stuff, so you guys have actually are good to go. Yeah, the package was in there. You got the package.
Okay, so I'm going to just slide down the pillar and kind of escape the confusion, I guess. That makes sense.
You're gonna run are you gonna run out the backside or through the like the fog cloud and out that way in the same direction as the big king?
How big is the window?
These bars are not, you could fit through them easily.
Okay, I'm gonna go to the window. How tall is the drop?
You go out and look out. It is not an insignificant drop. It's about 25, 30 feet.
I could live through that.
Yeah, it's not insignificant, but not terrible.
He's considering it. Is there like anything to grab on the way down? Kind of like climb down instead of jumping down?
Yeah, you can kind of, there's a, it's pretty smooth on the outside, but you can see there's like a flagpole that's out on it that you could maybe break your fall with if you make a good acrobatics check.
Okay, I'm gonna try that then.
Alright, go ahead and make an acrobatics check as you jump down.
It could be worse.
Yeah, you kind of catch your hands on it and it bends down a little bit, and you fall, you basically significantly lessen the fall. I'll say that you take half damage from the falling damage. So you only take 5 points of damage.
That's not bad at all.
Land down on the ground, kind of, you have the package in hand. Your allies are busting out, but they're definitely not safe quite yet. As we move next initiative to the frogs and the confusion are going to make, they just really want to bring them down. They're going to make disadvantage attacks. A lot of them got taken down, so there's only 3 attacks this round. So that's a 14 is going to hit. 16, and they're rolling hot. 16 is going to hit, and disadvantage. 14 is going to hit. All of them just barely hitting still. Through the fog there. So they're going to deal 12 and 13. Yeah, he's taken some more wounds. You can kind of hear him kind of hauling out in his native tongue, as he's kind of definitely a good amount of pain. But he's, on his turn, going to just run away. They can't see him, so they can't really make opportunity attacks against him. So he just starts crashing out, and one of the
Could I make an attack opportunity?
Yeah, I think your head, since the fog cloud is low, your head's also above it. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, go ahead and make an opportunity attack.
Oh. I'm 16, so...
24 is absolutely going to hit. Roll damage. But before he starts moving away, right before he does so, he's going to make an athletics check to grapple you, Zewxip. Or you can just let him grapple you, but he's going to pick you up with one of the tentacles as he starts to run. Zewxip, do you resist it? Or okay, you join him?
Hundo percento.
Alright, he goes and picks you up, the tentacle wraps around, and he picks you up, he places you on the shoulder, and he goes, "Guide my path, Weed!" And he starts just booking at his huge footsteps. You can kind of see some of like the common bullywugs as they are, as you are exiting, are all kind of looking at him in kind of confusion. He gets to the outside of the building where I was saying you're going through some open air segments before. He kind of crouches down a little bit, and the big kind of pouch around his throat that frogs have expands, and he goes, and he jumps really high up in the air and makes like a mighty leap, like across kind of the city, and just kind of crashes down. He definitely takes out a couple of random civilians with the jump. Yep, and all of the frogs in the space are kind of run out and look after him. As we move next in initiative to Korr, you're up. He has run away from you. You can take a couple steps outside and see that he has moved further into the city. What do you do?
I chase. Korr wants to be stronger.
All right. He went down kind of an incline. You have to go down that like same 30-foot drop because this kind of spot is elevated. Do you want to jump down or what do you want to do?
Just give me 1 second. Athletic. That's an 18 because I have advantage.
Yeah. So you kind of jump down as well and crash down to the ground. Kind of drag your hand along the wall to slow you as you're going. So you'll also take half damage from the fall. 13 points of damage, so only 6. And you give chase. You're keeping pace for certain with this individual. Rivi, you can see them over in the distance. You went out the other side of the room, but you can see Korr chasing after Zewxip, who's riding on the Emperor Frogston as they continue to work their way out of the city.
I have a question.
What is it?
So it took basically my entire round to get up to this guy, but can I use my action surge to make an attack when I get up to him?
Yeah, absolutely you can.
I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna stab again with Birdsong.
All right, swing away. Roll the hit. Oh, I'm sorry. You roll the hit. Roll damage. 10 points of damage. Yep, you stab into him with Birdsong. He's looking pretty beat up from all of those like stabs around his waist.
Actually, wait. I forgot about something. I have extra attacks. I get 2 attacks with action surge.
That is correct. Then attack again. That also definitely hits. Full damage on that as well. 16. Woof. 26 points of damage. Yeah, he's looking pretty well bloodied at this point. As you know, he's just doing his best to retreat. And I assume that's all for your turn, Zewxip.
Indeed.
Yes,
you're getting near the gate and out into the swamp, and you think that like this creature was made for the swamp. Like if he gets there, he's home free. You're maybe a round away from the getting out of the city.
Okay, yeah. Well, wait. Is it? He picked me up, but is it my turn?
It's your turn, yeah.
Okay.
Your ally is somehow still looming in the same space. Like he's so tall that he's like eye level with you as Julius is trying to escape, and he's still attacking Julius.
Stay still and let me fight you!
What do you do?
I will. I will provide the aid action to allow him to escape better. I don't know. Is that like give disadvantage on attacks against him, or how? Shoot. Am I paying enough?
Wait, I'm sorry. I was a little confused. What were you trying to do?
To give him the aid action to try and.
The help action?
Yeah, to help.
I think that's a fair. Yeah, I think we can say that you'd have disadvantage on like an opportunity attack because he's moving away.
Okay, because I'll crawl all over him or whatever and try and deflect stabs or something, but I do want to help him escape to this.
All right. In that case, you take the help action as you continue to ride him away, and that's going to bring us back around to the top of the initiative. Rivi, you got the package. You're free to. You're good, but you see your allies are still kind of fighting it out over in the distance.
I mean, as long as I get the package to Candyland, I'm good. We're as a group are good. So I'm dashing away.
You just dash away. As you're running, you can see people in the streets are fleeing in some directions. Guards are coming in others, and you can start to hear the ding 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 of or it's more of kind of like a wooden thunk, as it's almost like huge wind chimes that you'd find outside that blow in the wind that kind of sound the city's bells. But yeah, that sound begins to happen. It's a hard one to describe with onomatopoeia. Yeah, you run. You're good. You got your package. You're booking it. And yeah, you'll be outside of the city in no time. People are too scared to pay attention to you, even though you probably don't belong. That's gonna
yeah. So it's better for me. I just shoot him in the face. So
yeah. I mean, any frog, like one guard steps, and that guard no longer
gets shot.
Yeah. And that's going to, in that case, bring us around to. That's going to bring us to Frogston. Korr, make an attack against Frogston with disadvantage as he jumps. Are you going to make another opportunity attack?
I am.
All right, yeah, make one with disadvantage.
Oh my!
Oh, roll damage.
I
the
love
disadvantage crit. Yeah, the disadvantage crit. Wow.
I love being a champion.
14 is not going to be enough to finish him off, however. And this time, as he kind of steps away, he does another one of these big, mighty frog leaps and kind of crashes down right on top of the outside of the world tree, which is like here at the outskirts of the city. You can see from the husk of the world tree, Zewxip, as you look around, it's got an incredible, it's kind of perched up over much of the swamp. And as you kind of view the swamp, Julius Frogston with his dash action after the first big jump, he looks down and he just plummets straight down into some of the swampland below, as you guys kind of make your escape into the swamp. Korr, you got a mighty hit on as he was going away. It wasn't quite enough to finish him off, but you're definitely confident at this point that you would have taken him. And with that, everyone scattered to the four winds.
I actually have a. I think I might have a way I could catch up with.
Oh, what do you? Oh, wait, I know what you're gonna do.
I'm gonna transform into a bird.
One of the problems is as you fly after a bird, and you can definitely keep pace as you fly up, but you can see he's now like submerged beneath the swamp. Just a little bit of the top of his head is sticking out, and Zewxip like right over it. But you fly as a bird, and you can kind of like track him for a time.
Could I make a dive bomb attack, transforming back into Korr, and try and make a stab down?
What action does it take to turn into a bird? Is it just, can you just end it immediately?
I'm not sure.
What type of druid are you?
He's not a druid, he just has a magic item.
Oh, okay.
I'm pulling up DnDTime.stream now so I can check the item.
I
do not know off the top of my head.
Circle of the Moon can use it as bonus, but other druids use it as an action. That's how I know it.
Indeed. Let's see. Time.
In the meantime, you know what? Just for the sake of moving forward, yeah, I'd say that you can try this. Go ahead and make an attack. I mean, he has like 3/4 cover, so the attack's definitely going to be at disadvantage again. But go ahead and as he's like almost completely submerged beneath the swamp.
Let's go.
I
dropped a crit.
Man, I mean, almost another crit, but an 18 will hit. Roll damage. 10 points. Yeah, 10 points of piercing damage. You stab into the top of it, and Frogston's there, just kind of like... but he's still barely hanging on, just ever so barely. Oh, man.
Since I stabbed down straight into him with a rapier, can I ride on him?
I think that's the breadth of your actions, unfortunately, for this one. As you already did the whole bird fly after down stab. And at this point, Zewxip, do you go with him? Do you just like hold on? Because he's going under, he's sinking into the swamp. Or are you gonna let go and just let him kind of get away, without you falling behind?
No, I'll go with him, and if he's going underwater, I'll ask him if I can crawl into his mouth, because I can provide us both air.
And he kind of like, he just kind of like a tentacle reaches up and grabs you and just kind of puts you in, and then he just kind of sinks down deep beneath the murky Baradac, and you guys are kind of gone into the day. And Korr, perhaps you continue to relentlessly give pursuit.
How far away is he?
He's just underwater now. I think at this point, we're gonna have to finish this one off screen if you're gonna keep pursuing, because
I was just wondering if I could hit him with a hand axe if I threw it.
Oh no, it's the Baradac Swamp is thick sludge. He's moving through mud as much as he is water. Yeah, I mean, like I said, you might continue to pursue, moving above the land and trying to track him in the swamp. But the Emperor Julius Frogston VI is out. He's a big boy. But with that, as the two of you go off into your chase. And meanwhile, Rivi, you arrive at your destination with the package.
Hey!
It was just like a random house. It was just a random house up in the Big Rock Candy Mountains. And as you kind of open the door, an old man comes to the door. My package!
Here you go, sir.
And he kind of opens it up, and he takes it out, and he puts like a winter hat, takes a winter hat out of it, and puts it on his head. Getting cold. Thank you. I needed that to keep warm.
Thanks, I do.
And with that, each of you earns 200 Bartholomew bucks.
Woo.
You each gain a point of experience, and you have succeeded in your adventure.
Actually, how much experience do we have?
Yay.
What was the question?
I think I'm level 5, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. And thanks for playing, everyone. I'm sorry, Farzu, that your mic stopped working. I can still occasionally hear you trying to speak with the static, but it's not coming through. Yeah, that's gonna do it. Would any of you like to shop?